Well, hello, everybody, and welcome into another episode of Marriage Matters with Ken and Shar. It's great to be with you. How you doing today, babe?
It's good to be with everybody.
It is, right?
Uh-huh.
It's kind of a special day for us. As this episode drops, we are celebrating our 47th anniversary the next day.
That sounds so old.
Does that make you feel old?
Well, when you say it, yes. But when I feel it, no.
I know.
Feel like it's the same as it was when we were married.
I know.
30 years or 20 years or 10 years.
Again, we were married at 19, so we were married young. We still feel young.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 47 years in, it's been quite the ride. Yeah,
it has been a good ride.
Can you believe it's almost 50? I mean, that's now sneaking up on a 50th anniversary. That's crazy.
For any of you that are listening that are younger than us, which is probably everyone.
Everybody.
You never think you're going to get here.
No.
And then all of a sudden, one day you wake up and you're the oldest people in the group and you go, wait a minute.
Okay. We have a story about that.
Oh, yeah.
We were at a wedding. Was this last year?
Yes. You performed the ceremony for a young couple.
And so, we're at the reception afterwards and it's all going great, having a wonderful time. And they asked everybody out on the dance floor. So Charlene and I are out there just dancing away, slow, close dancing, slow dancing, and just really for us having a really special, and it was a beautiful evening.
Only way I can get him on the dance floor.
Guy goes,
it's a slow dance.
Yeah. This guy don't dance. Yeah.
Well, you could if you wanted to.
So the DJ starts going, okay, so if you've been married less than 5 years, remove yourself from the dance floor. And I don't think anything of it. And then he goes, okay, if you've been married under 10 years, then go away. And then he gets it 20 years and then 30 years. And we're just dancing away. I'm not thinking a thing of any of this. All of a sudden I look up and there's like 3 couples left on the dance floor. Everybody else is sat down watching.
And you should have seen Kenny's face. He looked at me and he goes, it's not going to be us, is it?
I go, honey, are we now the old people here at the event, And it's like, sure enough, we were the oldest marriage there. The last one standing. And I went, okay, if I'm ever at a wedding and they do this again, I'm not getting it.
No, we're sitting down at 5 years and under.
I'll be busy eating my chicken surprise because I'm not getting up on the dance floor.
Because then the DJ said, so this is the oldest couple here. And Kenny had just performed the wedding. And they said, okay, tell us a few wise words for the new couple. It was like,
we both just stammered and stuttered. I went, I didn't come here to,
I just wanted to dance with my husband.
I was just dancing with my wife, man. Anyway. It's pretty shocking when you all of a sudden are the old folks and our marriage was the oldest one there.
Very memorial moment cemented in my head. Yeah. And we both just looked at each other and went, how did this happen?
Well, no, I said, I'm not doing this again. That's the last time that's going to happen. That was a rookie move getting up on that dance floor.
Wait a minute. We're still young. No, we're not.
Okay, so we're doing a special episode today. We're going to call this our anniversary episode and celebrate our 47th with you over this episode. And hopefully just we're encouraged. We're having a great time over our anniversary right now. But hopefully you're encouraged that when your anniversary rolls around, look, gang, make something. You can't look at it. And I know a lot of us do. There's this pressure to buy your spouse something and, I got to outthink whatever last year. I got to at least outdo them, so there's all this weird, funky pressure attached to an anniversary that's rolling up on you. But we'd love to just dispel all that and maybe change the way we think about it. Let's make anniversary a time to really remember something awesome God did.
Well, I think that people think, after they've been married so many years, which we have been married a long time. It's like, well, what's there to celebrate? But I was just thinking about this right before we did this podcast, Ken. And I was thinking, but we celebrate our birthday every year. This is kind of a birthday in a way. It's the birth of something new, of us becoming one person. Yeah. And
it's a birth of one of the most unique miracles
that God does.
He makes two into one.
And it's special. And it's always been very special for me because I love you and I want to celebrate this. It was a time of our life that started completely over.
Yeah.
A new life started.
Completely.
Just like a birth of your child
Yeah.
or your own birth, though you don't
Right.
you don't remember that, but you
Right.
remember the birth of your children. It's a special time, and it's a
Yeah.
special time to remember. And I love remembering back.
Yeah. So if we don't communicate anything else in this episode, at least let's communicate this, that, gang, it's worth remembering. It's an anniversary of all the things you celebrate. It's big. You need to celebrate it, and you need to celebrate it with some intentionality and really acknowledge this good thing that God has done. It would do every couple great to, on their anniversary, take a minute, man. And that's what we're going to do right now, and just talk about a few things.
It's not about gifts.
No.
It's not about money. It's not unless you want to make it about that. That's fun too, to get an anniversary gift. But it's about the love that you have for each other and the uniqueness of it.
Right.
And I think that's why we wanted to do this podcast, to just celebrate. It's a celebration, and
which is really interesting as believers. Even a casual reading of the Bible. Look, remembering important moments in God's work being worked out in a life, he's into that. He's into remembering.
Well, he tells us over and over and over in the Word to remember.
Don't
remember
forget,
this.
There's
Don't
two
forget.
sides to that same coin.
You're right.
Don't forget.
Oh, that's true.
And remember. I mean, so the psalmist wrote in the 77th Psalm, "I will remember the works of the Lord." This is what a marriage is. It's a work of God. It's not, you didn't do your marriage.
Right.
I didn't do it. I mean, we went to the ceremony, but the making of two into one is a miracle of God. He designed this thing. He created, he formed it for us. So the psalmist says, "I'll remember the works of the Lord. Surely I will remember your wonders of old. I will meditate on all your works and talk of all your deeds."
And that's a work of the Lord.
Right.
Let's remember that.
The psalmist understood that these big works of God, and your marriage, gang, is clearly one of them. Don't let this thing become mundane or something that you think, gosh, I don't want to celebrate. Well, let's just not celebrate it, honey. See, we hear that. And we've even been tempted to go, can we just
haven't.
But well, I mean, it's like
you probably have.
Well, it's like the pressure
it's pressure.
of
you're right.
the gifting and all of that. And I know that people just give up.
But
they're tempted to give up
because they think it's about a certain thing they have to do. Instead of just sitting down, it can be over coffee.
Yeah. Don't make it about the best thing to do is make it about remembering a great work of God. In the 103rd Psalm says, "Bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that's within me, bless his holy name. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and forget not all his benefits." There's the other side of that coin.
Okay.
One is remembering, one is don't dare forget these great things that God has done. Throughout the Bible, this topic of remember for the believer, the one who seeks God, the child of God, to remember the works of God is just massive in Scripture. In Revelation 2, that great church in Ephesus, when he's exhorting the churches there, has all these great works. And there's a commendation for the church of Ephesus, but then it says, "I have this against you, that you have forgotten your first love." So there's that exhortation for the believer to never forget our first love of God, that he's supreme to us in all things. In Deuteronomy 8, man, I read it again yesterday. There's this huge passage, almost the whole chapter is given to an exhortation to Israel. Look, when you get into the land that I'm giving you, I've done this. I've delivered you into a promise, right? That you're going to have this tendency to forget that I fed you with manna. I parted the river. I did all this. You're going to have a tendency to forget, but don't forget all that God has done. It's just this massive exhortation there that is, let me get there real quick. Let me just read a chunk of it, just a little bit of it.
Okay.
The Lord says, "When you've eaten and you're full, then you shall bless the Lord your God in the good land which he has given you. Beware, lest you do not forget the Lord your God by not keeping his commandments, his judgments, his statutes, lest when you've eaten and you're full and have built beautiful houses and now you're dwelling in them, and when your herds and your flocks multiply, your silver and your gold are multiplied, and all that you have is multiplied." In other words, things are awesome. Yep. "When your heart is lifted up and you forget the Lord your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt." That's a tendency that he knew Israel would have. He knows we have.
We have.
So an anniversary is a habit. It's a tradition that you can really approach to help us not forget.
Well, it helps us to be intentional in our marriage, to continue that our marriage will continue to grow
Absolutely
into what God wants it to be.
Yeah.
And I remember, isn't that funny now when I say that word, I think, wow, I'm remembering that when we were married 11 years and our children were still little. And before that, we never really could take a time away. We were raising little babies, and you don't want to leave them for a long period of time with your parents or whomever. And my mom and dad said, for your anniversary present this year, we want to come over and watch your children for a week.
Oh, that was huge.
And we both looked at each other like, you got to be kidding.
Yeah, like, you guys are awesome.
You will do that for us. My mom and dad were awesome. But we said, okay. And we started planning a trip.
Yeah.
And I remember that while we were on this trip, we remembered why we loved each other so much and what drew us together.
I remember this. Yeah.
It was eye-opening, to say the least.
Because we had really gotten out of the habit of spending time like that together. We just couldn't. Life was grinding so hard.
It was. And three kids under 6 years old, and ministry, and a home to take care of, and all the other responsibilities that we had. It's like something that you get pushed back.
I think everybody listening knows the pressure of that life.
We can't think about that right now.
Right.
But for that week that my parents were so kind to do that for us, then we started realizing how badly we need this. And it needs to happen every year. And luckily, we had parents that would come over every year and watch our children, get them to school.
That was a yearly event for us.
It was. And we looked forward to it from the moment we got home, as I'm crying on the way home. Not saying I had a bad life, but it was just so special to have that time with my husband, only my husband, and focus on us. Not
we would
anything
begin,
else.
I remember when we got home that first year, you said that was year 11. We began saving a nickel here, a dime there, a couple bucks there, the day we got back to prepare for the next, because we didn't want to hit a credit card with it every year.
Right.
We wanted to do it cash and go somewhere special. So we would start saving the day we got home and save for a whole year till our next anniversary.
$20 here and $20 there. And we'd have a little money by the time that the next anniversary came, and we would plan where we were going. Some years it was leaner than others, or some years somebody loaned us their beach house, or it was so special to look forward to it, not just remember, but to look forward to having a memory, another memory together. It was just.
Yeah, that would be a big suggestion of ours. If you never have, do all you can to get away at your anniversary time, something special, where even for a night or two where you don't have to make the bed in the morning, you don't have to do the dishes, you're away somewhere,
or you stay home and without your children.
And I know that for a lot of couples, they're gonna say that's just impossible. We can't. You know what? If you're intentional enough, like I said, we saved literally nickels. I had a change jar to make this happen, right, for a year. So that we could do it. We were living on a shoestring, and you can make it happen if you're dedicated enough to it, and you should be. It was. You're right. As you're saying that, every year, how much did we look forward? We'd look at a calendar and be like 3 months away or 4 months away, and we'd flip that calendar and go, see, I can do anything for these next 4 months because I know that night's coming. I know that week is coming. Right?
Well, and that was 36 years ago.
Yeah.
And I can honestly say since then, every year we have celebrated our anniversary.
We have done it,
There were some years we couldn't go away. Then COVID took the possibility away at times, but we made sure that it was a time of remembrance for us of the sweet things God has done in our life and the blessings He's given us with each other and our marriage and our family. And the new thing that He did 47 years ago, He's still wanting to make new.
Yep.
And we're on that week right now, and we sit and we just talk about all the things that God has done.
God's done, sure.
You know,
we did this morning. We had some coffee early this morning here out in a little courtyard we have here at the house, and that's just all we talked about was how good the Lord has been to us. And gang, He's been good to you too. Take some
and
time
just thankful
and reflect on that. Yeah, the whole remembering thing, James, there's a passage in James 1 where he talks about, look, when a man is slow, get this, when a man's heart is slow to respond to the word of the Lord, right, to what God is doing, he's like a man who sees himself in a mirror and upon walking away from that mirror, forgets who he is.
Oh.
We can forget.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
when you're slow to respond to this great thing that God's done in a married life, if our heart is sluggish or apathetic or lethargic at really thanking the Lord for it and acknowledging it is a good work, it is a great thing God has done with you, husbands and wives, and it's for his glory. He delights in it, and the world needs to see it shine. When we walk away, we're slow to acknowledge all those things. We can forget. We just forget who we are and what our marriages are in this world, how important they are.
Right. To the Lord.
To the Lord and to the fabric of the culture we live in, to the society we live in.
Right.
These
and
things
to our
are,
families.
The stakes are so high. We say it over and over again, gang. The stakes societally, culturally, your family, future generations are so high. It's so important that you guys do it right, man.
Right.
It really is. And then I'm remembering
Go
how many
ahead.
times in the Bible does God instruct them to actually take stones and build little altars to remember. The most obvious is when under Joshua, they came into the promised land finally, and they took 12 big stones out of the Jordan and stacked them on the side of the promised land. And he said, this will be a remembrance forever at this incredible thing that God had done. So remembering major works of God, major moments where God showed up huge and did something really, truly significant, they're really important for us to remember. And gang, truly, marriage is one of those things.
Well, and it does something for you. Some of you might be listening going, I'm not going to, that sounds so silly. We're older married now, or we've been married 20 years. We don't need that. Or we've been married.
It's just too cheesy.
We've been married 40 years. We don't need to tell each other how much we love each other. And it's like, well, I don't know about you, but I need to know that. I don't care that I'm 67 years old. I need to know that my husband loves me.
Well, each anniversary, it kind of stokes. This is what we would experience by spending time remembering, intentionally doing that. It stokes vision.
It does.
For that season you're in, a whole new year.
Right.
And there's something really special. That's why I like New Year's every year. There's
the
something special about standing on the cusp of something new.
Right.
And when you celebrate your past year of marriage, you realize I'm standing on the threshold. Let's go make something awesome. It's a whole new day right now. Right. So it does that. It can stoke a fresh vision for your marriage.
Well, I always think, because I'm a future thinker, which is good and bad, mostly bad probably, but I always think, is this my last anniversary I'll have with my husband?
Do you think that way, really?
No, I do. Almost in everything. Well, you get a little older and you start thinking like, well, you don't know.
Do you know something I don't know?
No, but I don't know.
I know. No, I get it.
And I think I don't want to waste it. And
that's
I don't
the way
want,
a future thinker would think.
And I don't want to live in regret that I didn't take the chance when I had it.
That's a good point.
I thought it was insignificant when it was significant. And every moment that we have together is significant. I that's why I want to treasure every moment, not the bad stuff, of course, but but the good stuff.
Yeah.
It's important to me.
We talked earlier this year at Valentine's Day. We had a group here in our home and we talked about the same thing. Let's take a minute and remember really what God has done. And we cited these things, and I'm just going to go over them real quick. I think it's worth, I don't think we've done this on our Marriage Matters podcast, but I think it's worth doing it. So what are we remembering? And this is all taken really from the first mention of marriage, which is right there in Genesis 2. For this purpose shall a man leave father and mother, be joined to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. That great statement of God's plan for marriage. But this is what we're remembering. Let's just take a minute and do this. You jump in here anytime, babe, too. I'm just going to kind of recite these. Number one, we're remembering that all that God created is good. He said that there in Genesis. It's good. It's good. And then when he created man and woman there on that sixth day, he said, it's very good. God created marriage for his glory and for our highest good. And what he created is good. Now, if you're in a tough season and feeling stuck, that doesn't change the reality of that truth. What God created is good. If yours isn't good, make it good, because it is good. God created it to be good. We can booger it all up just in the flesh, right? But in the end, it's good to remember on your anniversary, if no other day, that the way that God created it to be is very good. Number two, remember that it was not good that man was alone. Remembering this, that your marriage union is God's design to perfectly speak to the aloneness problem in man. Your marriage is that. Your wife is that. Your husband is that. Remember that you're both created in his image and given the same calling. You're equal to the Father in regard to the blessing in your life and his value upon your life. Remember that you have left father and mother and you are cleaving together, miraculously joined together into one unit, one flesh, the Bible calls it. Remember that union, being the product of God's great design, was created above all to make him known to the world. Man, remember this, guys, your marriage can reflect the very nature and the wonder of who God is through your love being shown to the world. Remember also, man, these two things, that the deceiver hates all that is God and has set himself up against it. He hates what a marriage can be, which puts you right in the middle of a great battle. And lastly, remember that marriage is hard. It's by virtue of the fallen nature of man, this is hard and requires that you roll up your sleeve every day and go to work. So there's some things to remember here.
That's all the theology side of what to remember about your marriage, because that's good to remember those things, because then you're not caught off guard.
Well, again, if nothing else, remember that X years ago, however long you've been married, you made an oath together. And let's at the very least, of all things to take a minute on an anniversary, remember is, for us, 47 years ago, I made a vow. I entered into a vow that I would love you, honor you, and cherish you through all things, no matter what, when it's better, poorer, richer, sick, health, whatever. And that I would do it until one of us goes to be with Jesus. And every anniversary, gang, is a good time to remember that we spoke that vow willfully, and we set that before the Lord and put our life in motion that way. So
we just wanted to share with you a couple of things that we talk about, maybe not on a regular basis, but semi-regular, and that we like to talk about when we have time to focus on our marriage during our anniversary time. So go ahead.
Well, we do this with couples too.
Yes, we do.
And we put this in front and to get them interacting. So here we go. Let's we're going to do a few of these before we have to tap out here with time. We did this recently with some couples. So we asked the question, finish this sentence, and we're asking a husband and wife. We're going to do this right here on the mics. I have always loved the way you, and finish that sentence. So you go first, babe.
What, you want me to answer that?
Yeah.
Well, I've always loved the way that you make me feel special and loved, like above everything else, most of the time. But no, you always have. You make me feel like I'm important. I always say, if I didn't have my spouse to make me feel that way, who would I be the most important to?
Yeah.
No, God will always love me and make me feel special, and I'm so important to him. But in a tangible way here on earth, to know that there's someone who thinks I'm it.
Yeah.
I'm just totally it.
And I do.
Oh, you do.
I would answer, I have always loved the way you support me. I always know you're my biggest fan, again, all the way back to even when we were in high school or young marrieds and early in ministry. Even though I didn't always deserve your support and didn't handle things always awesome, but I always knew that you were for me and not against me. You have always been for me and not against me. Yeah.
That's sweet.
How about this? The thing that most attracted me to you, and I'll answer this one first, I guess.
Okay.
The thing that most attracted me to you when we were first falling in love was? Oh man, I was falling in love with you when we were 11, 12, 13 years old. The first real powerful emotions I had, you were just drop dead gorgeous. I don't know what else to
Well,
say.
you thought
You
that.
were beautiful. And I was falling in love with you because of that. I mean, as we were getting to know each other, but what those things attracted me was just,
Well,
you were drop dead gorgeous.
Let's face it, physical attraction is real.
Big time.
There's a reason that God gave us eyes, you know.
Yeah.
But mine would be the same. I mean, I thought you were so cute, and I loved your athletic ability.
How carnal and how fleshy is that?
It
We
sounds,
just thought
I just
each other
went,
was
oh
good.
man, this is like, but that is the very first thing. And then I loved your smile and your dimples. So I
Well, there
just
you
thought
go.
you were so stinking cute. And I still do. I still think you're pretty cute.
Another question. This is a good one. You in my life has changed the way I think about. You go first.
You in my life has made me realize there's people different than me, and it's not wrong that that God made us unique and with our own personalities. And you have made me realize that though we're opposite, we can still work together, even though we are nothing alike in personality and in so many things. But I love that people don't have to be like me.
Yeah.
To just really have a wonderful relationship.
Yeah.
In friendships and in our marriage. You've made me realize that.
Yeah, I would answer it. You in my life has changed so many things. I was thinking about it just this morning, getting ready for this. I thought, okay, I do things way different because you're in my life. I mean, I used to toothpaste my whole toothbrush. The whole length of the brush. I would lay
a lot.
I'd be through a tube of toothpaste in a week. You know. And I looked at Charlene when we got married. She put a little pearl-sized drop out there, and I thought, you can do that, and pillows. I actually pillows are weird.
You like them, huh?
Yeah, she turned me on to a body pillow at night to sleep, and it's like, dude, that was like life-changing for me. So, just weird stuff like that. There's so much that I have taken from you. You've changed the way I think about a lot of things, but and I don't know if this is necessarily answers the question, but I think being married to you early, I began to realize how God's work was going to happen in my life was through you. In other words, you were going to be the instrument that God would use to get to me. My selfishness, anger, attributes of my life that were broken, that I came really into our marriage life. Yeah. You were the tool that God was going to use to uncover those, to make them recognizable to me, so that
and pray with you that that the Lord would do His work.
Yeah, you in my life made me think very differently about how God was going to refine me. I knew He'd use His word in the power of the Spirit to change my life, always be changing me and sanctifying my life. But I think I learned pretty quick that out of all that, one of the greatest instruments He'd use would be you. In other words, I'll say it another way. I never knew how selfish I could be till I was married to you. I never knew how angry I could get. I never knew how childish I could be until marriage. And that was the way God was going to reveal these flaws, this stuff in me that had to be dealt with by the Spirit of God. The great revealer was going to be you in my life.
Well, I think that you study the word, you know the word, and the Lord says, okay, when He says, be kind. For instance.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to be kind until that's the practical application of that word is learning to be kind.
Right.
Usually it's in the home.
Yeah.
And you go, oh, I'm not a very kind person.
Right.
You realize I'm not a kind person, but the Lord instructs me to be kind.
Right.
And I love how God does that. He uses us to be each other's refining tool.
Right.
If we'll accept it and not just fight.
True. Right. Let's do two more of these. We're going to run out of time. Let me do this. My favorite part of our wedding day was, can I answer first?
Sure.
Dude, honeymoon night, man. The ceremony was awesome. Yeah. The Lord was there, great friends there. But man, the honeymoon night, I didn't grow up in the Lord. Many of you know this. We've shared this before many times. And had been sexually active far too young in my life, before I was even a teenager. And then I came to know Jesus. And so from that time on, sexual purity began to mean a lot to me as a child of God. And so we were heading towards our wedding, and dude, it was like, okay, this cannot come fast enough, right? And so for me, without a doubt, racing over to the coast from our hometown where we were married, and enjoying our honeymoon night. That was the best day of the wedding of that day for me.
Well, I say every part of that day, every
Really?
part. Yeah, I loved and I treasured and I remember every part of how happy I was. And we had a double wedding with my sister and her husband now.
Right.
And
who is my best, was my one,
and
was
she
and is
was,
my best friend.
we were as close as twins, though we weren't twins. But the fact that we got to celebrate that together was so special to me.
Yeah.
Having her with me and her boyfriend, fiance at the time, and they're still married 47 years later. And it is such a special memory to me to share that. It's unique. And to have that special wedding day with her, along with you, my family, it was just a blessing to me, just a true blessing.
Yeah, it was really special, wasn't it?
It was.
How about this last one? Let's wrap up this. We don't have time to do 5, so let's do 2.
Okay.
2 things I love the most about you. I'll go first.
Okay.
About you, hon, I love, again, that you, even when I don't deserve it, and I'm not going about things in a stellar fashion, you support me. There's never been a question in my mind that you're for me. You're not against me. And I love that the most. I suppose that's important to me. I guess, I came from a broken home where promises didn't matter, and, just stuff and sticking with me. We laugh about it because Charlene realizes, we realize it together early, that I'm driven by a fear of failure. And so that would mean for me, I'm afraid of failing you, because I'll be rejected or you won't have respect for me or whatever. And I've never felt a minute where you didn't support my life. You've challenged me. I mean, and it doesn't mean you just go along with it. You're not afraid to call me out on my junk, but I do know, even if you're calling me out, it's for me. You want me to be a better man. And I absolutely love that about you.
Well, I wrote down that you make me feel safe and protected. And I've loved that about you, our whole married life, that I'm not only protected on the outside, feel protection on the outside of this, in this world when I'm with you, but here in my home, you've never made me feel afraid. I've never been afraid of you. And I've never felt like unsafe with you. And that means a lot to me. I don't know if that means a lot to a lot of women. I think that it does.
I think it does. Yeah.
Because when you can't...
Security is a big driving force.
When you can't trust the man who you've given your life to not hurt you in a lot of ways, emotionally, physically, anyway, and you feel safe. And it is... My dad made me feel safe. And then I went straight into a home with you that you made me feel safe. And that has meant the world to me, honestly. It has.
Awesome. I think one more, we'll do 2. Second one, last one. For me, I think what I love the most about you is that you're a homemaker at heart. You've created a place of refuge for me. My home really is a place where at the end of every day of out there slaying dragons and doing whatever I was doing, whether it was early in my career in oil and gas or later on in ministry life, the last 42 years, you've created a home for me where I can come. There's peace in my home, and I can get put back together, go out the next day and do it all over again. And we've known too many where their home life is another source of tension, right? And they're battling at home and at work, out in their careers. And I'm going, where do you go for peace, man? When home isn't that? I don't know where people go to get made right. Get refreshed and renewed. And you've made our home always a place of renewal, and there's not chaos here. There's peace here. And I love that about you.
The last thing I can say, that I can tell you anything I feel like I can share my heart with you completely, and that you
Good.
won't reject me.
Good.
That I have a place to go to, and I think it's very important to me.
Yeah.
It's very important.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, that's awesome. Those are the things. That's the things. Yeah, we'll just
we'll just sit here all day long.
And we won't have you guys the burden of listening to it. But what those things, just saying those things to each other, makes you remember what that your spouse has been given to you for. To be lifted up, to be encouraged, to make you feel special, and to make you feel loved. And I don't care what kind of a macho person you are, and you don't think that you need that. We all need that.
Right.
We need that in our soul.
Right on.
We need to know the love of Jesus, and we need to feel secure in the love of our spouse. And that's a good thing to remember every anniversary, or if not every day, and be thankful for it, because I surely am.
Yeah, this has been really fun for us, I think. I've had a good time with this episode. Again, this is us celebrating our 47th anniversary. And hopefully what it's done for you guys, encourage you to that celebrating an anniversary is an important thing to do. Don't blow it off, guys. If one of you sitting around going, gosh, do we have to, can we just not do anything? We're too busy. We're too this. No, take some time. Remembrance is an important thing to God, and remembering these awesome things that God does, these really unique things in life, when things can feel so mundane and average and plodding along. There's some things that God's done, milestone moments and things in every life. One of them in yours is your marriage. God did a miracle. And taking time to reflect on it and remember it is a big deal. And maybe we've encouraged you to take some time and actually tell each other what it is you love about each other and what you appreciate about each other.
You don't have to wait till your anniversary. You could do it that, every day.
I vote for it every day. Yeah.
You know what I love about that is that when you take that time to remember the good things that God has done, it brings a praise and worship to Him like you don't have at other times, because you're so thankful that He has blessed you in these ways. And to remember the good, let's not focus on the bad. Let's remember the good, the great things God has done. It's so easy
to focus on
that's what we do, is we focus on the bad and we forget the good.
Yeah. I will remember the works of the Lord. Surely I will remember your wonders of old, the psalmist writes. I will meditate on all your good work and talk of all your deeds. Isn't that awesome?
Yes, it is.
Oh, it's been fun.
Yeah, it has.
Hey, thanks for being with us. Hopefully you enjoyed the episode. We'll be back in our study through what love is and what love does. Next week, we'll drop another episode along that series that we're in. So until then, man, great being with you guys. God bless you.
God bless you. Bye-bye.